Star Wars: The Old Republic had some exciting surprise news. Recently, the servers for the game that players play on had been moved over to the cloud. This was a beneficial technical change for the developers, but it also opened up some new doors about what they could do with the servers. Before the servers had moved over to the cloud, they opened up a temporary server called Shae Vizla, which was located in the Asia-Pacific region, and asked players to test it out for a week or so to see how the connection was and logging in to the new cloud server. Shortly after, they started moving all the servers over to the cloud, and we didn't really hear anything about that test in the Asia-Pacific region, and players have been wondering if they would eventually release an Asia-Pacific focused server for players in that region. Out of the blue, with the next big update still focused on the horizon, they gave a 1 day's notice that they would be launching a new server that players could create characters on. This new server is called the Shae Vizla server and is currently out right now for everyone to join. It's located in the APAC region. You'll see it spelled as APAC, and that is a short form of Asia Pacific. Unlike the other servers, it will not allow transfers, so all players will be starting at level 1 with no legacy or credits. This server is physically located in the APAC area of the world and will be focused towards players who live in Australia and New Zealand, as it will be physically located in Sydney, hopefully giving players who live there much lower server lag or ping than logging into the North American or European servers as they have been for many years. Players who live in nearby countries including Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, China, Singapore, South Korea, Japan, Nepal, India, and Malaysia may also want to try out the new servers, as it may give them less lag than connecting to the European servers. Players outside the region can still play on this server, they just might have higher server lag or delay, much like if a North American player logged into a European server in the past. A lot of players have been asking, what is the connection or the ping like for players on this server? For players in Australia, the connection is absolutely phenomenal. We've had players reporting in the 20s. We have a player who is near Sydney, where the servers are physically located, saying they had a connection ping of 4 to the server, which is so incredibly and amazingly low. Other Aussies are reporting 34 in Brisbane, 16 from Bendigo, and single digits for others as well. Players logging in from North America will see probably about a similar amount of ping as they would be logging into a European server. Me personally, from California, my ping would spike from about 80 to 150 to 200 to 250, up and down, just depending on where I was. This amount of ping is totally playable if you're doing story or leveling or casual flashpoints PvP or operations. It only will get really noticeable when you start doing fine-tuned content involving other players, where you really need to know where those players are, where your character is standing, and really fine-tune your abilities and watch others' abilities. Otherwise, although the server lag might be happening in the background, for example, when I was 250 ms ping, you might not even notice because the ping kind of happens in the background. So that's why Aussies are excited and are flocking to check out the new server. Now, there is also a lot of players who are from North America and Europe who are also checking out the new server because it offers an exciting prospect. For long-time players, this will be an interesting experience if you create a character there, as you cannot transfer a character over. You will not have your legacy unlocks, legacy credits, legacy cargo bay, or help from any of your existing characters. Players are kind of nicknaming this new Shae Vizla APAC server as a fresh start server because of that ability to start with just fresh, brand new character, just like everybody else. Your only unlocks that will carry over to the new server will be any account-wide unlocks you have. So if you purchase something like the Togruta species from the cartel market, it is an account-wide unlock in its description, so you'll still have it on the new server. However, if you happen to unlock, say, Twi'leks through the legacy system by leveling 1, you will not have it available on the new server because that was a legacy-wide unlock only. Very few unlocks are account-wide. One nice thing is that you will still have access to your collections items. So although you won't have any credits to start off with, you can still look fashionable by claiming items from collections. The biggest question about this server will be whether it will wind up with a big enough population to support multiplayer content like PvP matches and group finder after the initial rush of players trying out the new server has run its course. Aussies may be excited about the prospect of being able to play on a server closer to home with less lag, but if queue times are high, they may still choose to migrate back to the existing servers, especially as all their accumulated characters and wealth are being left behind. APAC players may also decide that the cost of not playing playing with friends or guildmates, staying behind on the main servers is also too steep to pay, as there is still no ability to cross-server group or cross-server queue. One thing that may help is if players in the APAC region who are former players or prospective players, ones that aren't currently playing, hear about the new server and decide it's a good time to return or start playing the game, bolstering the new server with a more stable population that will call it a true home. Players from other regions and servers may also wish to make APAC their new home. There are some definite benefits to playing on the new server. With the playing field being roughly even, there's a new chance for world first or to make a name for yourself on the new server through PvP, raiding, parsing, role-playing, crafting, conquest, social activities and events, or playing the GTN. While we don't know if the population will be smaller yet, a smaller population may be beneficial. Many players prefer to play almost purely solo and would prefer playing and leveling on a quieter server once the dust settles, as everyone rushes to level at the launch of the server. Before the APAC server, the best option to play solo was on the Leviathan, but that server's main language is French, so if you ever did need help, it was quite hard to ask. The APAC server is primarily English. Players who play casually may also flock to the server to check things out. It can be fun to have a fresh start to your characters, and that seems to be the factor that most players playing at the launch of this server seem to be excited about and enjoying. While not all of the nostalgia from the launch of the game can be recaptured, playing on an empty, quote-unquote, legacy gets some of that back, especially if you also take your time to smell the roses. On starting planets like Korriban, it really does seem a lot of players are not rushing to max level. Players are looking for datacrons or lore objects or achievements and trying to run quests that interest them, or even just walking for fun, even if they can afford the taxi and quick travel. Speaking of which, that's a fun new change. Starting off with 0 credits and 0 legacy for longtime players has been a really fun thing to discuss. At one point, I literally only had 23 credits and had to decide whether to quick travel or walk, and ended up walking just so I could save 23 credits. Oh, but by the way, if you don't want to take your time and you do want to level up fast, I don't necessarily recommend it, but we do have you covered. We did some research on the fastest ways to level up even if you are on a brand new account or server, and that's in our How to Level Up Fast guide video, and there's a full proper list on Swtorista.com that I've linked in the description of this video. Another big topic of discussion for players about this server has been about transfers. As I mentioned earlier, players are not allowed currently to transfer over existing characters from other servers to this new Shae Vizla server. The benefits of this is that it is truly a fresh start server with everyone starting on the same footing, a very exciting prospect for many long-time players. It also gives both players and developers an interesting chance to collect data and see how the GTN and economy behaves in kind of a vacuum. However, the biggest downside is that, especially for Australian players who are so excited about the lack of ping and server lag, is that any characters they already have are stuck sequestered on those other servers, and they can't bring over everything they've worked on onto this new server that has better technology for them. So the developers will have to very carefully balance opening up servers with keeping both the economy and the fun of the fresh start server. They have not given a date on when transfers will open, and it sounds like they're going to kind of play it by ear. This fresh start may be especially important to preserve because coming up in the holidays, probably I'm guessing about a month away, give or take, from the server's launch, the developers are going to be releasing 7.4, the next big update, which along with a whole bunch of other stuff, will include a GTN update that will overhaul the way the GTN lists items. So it's going to be very interesting to see this new server's economy evolve and compare it to the main servers that are chock full with items and credits. Personally, I was really excited about the new server because it gave me a chance to level a new legacy from scratch. Currently on all the main servers, the transferable ones, I have all of my legacies all filled out because I transfer characters, which makes a copy of my legacy. On the new Shae Vizla server, I actually get to have a level 0 legacy. I didn't even have one to start when I created my character, and get to kind of see that grow from the very beginning, just like it did way back when, over a decade ago, when I first started my legacy. I've also seen other players say that the new Shae Vizla server is another opportunity to gain achievements that give cartel coins for free, and to work on galactic seasons, which is another good way to earn cartel coins that you can then use on any of the servers. I hope you enjoyed this overview of the new Asia Pacific server, the Shae Vizla server in Star Wars: The Old Republic, and why that fresh start server is so interesting to so many players. If you're curious about the new content that's coming up in Star Wars: The Old Republic, don't forget to check out my channel because I have a video called What to Expect that shows a whole bunch of the cool stuff that's coming up soon. If you want to show your support for this amazing project that covers videos, guides, and website about Star Wars The Old Republic, please visit SWTORista.com/support. And if you like this video, press the thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. I'll see you guys all on the new server. As always, may the Force be with you.